Something crazy is happening in Jerusalem right now. And 3 major religions are watching it unfold. You've got secret meetings happening. Underground excavations. Religious groups preparing for something that sounds like it's straight out of the Bible. So here's the question. Is the third temple actually about to be built? Stay tuned, because what I'm gonna show you might totally blow your mind. Before we continue, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video if you want to spread God's truth. Let's continue. Look, on the surface, Jerusalem looks totally normal. Tourists everywhere, people praying at their holy sites, the sun shining on those famous golden stones. But beneath all that, things are getting real interesting, real fast. We're talking about ancient artifacts being pulled from the ground. Detailed blueprints being drawn up. And get this, red cows that haven't existed for over 2,000 years just showed up. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe something way bigger is going down. Today we're diving deep into buried ruins, ancient prophecies, and what's being done right now to make this temple a reality. But first, we gotta talk about what was there before. Almost 3,000 years ago, King Solomon built something incredible. This wasn't just any building. This was the temple. Covered in gold, filled with sacred objects, including the Ark of the Covenant. It stood for about 400 years until the Babylonians completely destroyed it in 586 BC. Jerusalem burned. The temple was gone. But here's the thing, the Jewish people rebuilt it. In 516 BC, they constructed the Second Temple. King Herod later expanded it into this massive complex with huge stones. Some still exist today. But in 70 AD, Roman armies surrounded Jerusalem and burned it down again. There's actually an arch in Rome showing soldiers carrying away the temple's golden menorah. All that's left now is the Western Wall. Archaeologists have found tons of evidence buried underground. Massive stones, ash layers, ritual objects. The proof is all there. The Temple Mount. For Jewish people, this is their holiest site, where both temples stood. For Muslims, it's the third holiest site in Islam. The Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque sit right here. 2 religions. 1 mountain. And a seriously complicated history. Since 1967, there's been this delicate balance. Israel controls security, but a Jordanian Islamic organization manages the religious sites. Jews can visit, but can't pray there. Muslims fiercely protect their access. Even the tiniest change, someone digging nearby, a politician visiting, can spark protests across the entire Middle East. One historian said it perfectly, in Jerusalem, the past isn't past. It walks beside you. But what's actually buried underground? That's where things get really controversial. Archaeologists have been carefully digging around the Temple Mount for decades. They found ritual baths, burn layers from ancient destruction, and seals from priestly families. Near the Western Wall, they discovered massive foundation stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, that held up the Second Temple. But the moment anyone tries to dig directly under the Temple Mount, all hell breaks loose. The biggest controversy was in 1999 when over 9,000 tons of soil got removed from beneath the mount and dumped without any archaeological supervision. Israeli scholars were furious. That soil contained priceless historical evidence. Today, getting permission to study what's actually under there is basically impossible. Too political. Too sensitive. But while archaeologists are stuck, other groups aren't waiting around. In Jerusalem's Jewish quarter, there's an organization called the Temple Institute that's been working since 1987 toward one goal: preparing for the Third Temple. And I mean actually preparing. They've recreated the golden menorah, the incense altar, and the priestly garments mentioned in the Bible. These aren't museum pieces. These are functional items ready to be used. They've drawn up architectural plans. They're training men believed to be descendants of the original priests, teaching them the exact rituals they'd need to perform. This isn't a historical reenactment. This is real preparation. Now, not everyone's on board. Even within Judaism, there's huge debate. Some say the temple can only be rebuilt when the Messiah comes. Others say we should be ready now. Outside the Jewish community, critics call it dangerous extremism. Supporters see it as biblical prophecy coming true. But here's the catch: Jewish law requires ritual purification before temple service can begin. And that requires something that seemed impossible to get. Until 2022. According to the Bible, you need the ashes of a perfect red cow, completely red, no spots, never worked, to perform the purification ritual. For over 2,000 years, no such cow existed. But in 2022, Christian ranchers in Texas bred 5 red heifers and sent them to Israel. Rabbis have been inspecting them super carefully. Even one white or black hair disqualifies them. Right now they're being raised under intense supervision. If just one reaches maturity without any marks, its ashes could restore ritual purity and unlock temple service. To some, this is just interesting news. To others, it's a clear prophetic sign. So are these random events, or are we watching something bigger unfold? Here's the hard truth. Building the third temple isn't about money or blueprints. It's about the fact that this would shake the entire world. The Temple Mount affects 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide. Any change to it, even rumors, is considered crossing a red line that could trigger international conflict. The UN, the EU, and countless organizations have all said the same thing: don't mess with the Temple Mount. But some believe a future peace agreement could create shared access. It sounds impossible, but these conversations are apparently happening behind closed doors. People who support rebuilding see this as their hope. Critics warn it could start a massive war. To Israel's north, Iran, Russia, and Turkey have established growing military presence in Syria and Lebanon. Some see this as geopolitics. Others see echoes of biblical prophecy about a northern alliance against Israel. Either way, the tension is building. So let's bring it all together. From artifacts underground to blueprints on paper, from red cows to regional tensions, preparations for a third temple are happening right now. They're not whispers. They're actions being taken in the open. Building it would require massive sacrifice and confronting centuries of conflict. But for those involved, it's not if, it's when. Jerusalem has always been where past and future collide, where heaven meets earth. And as the pieces keep falling into place, the question isn't whether change is coming. The question is, how will it arrive, and what will it demand from the world? Whatever happens in Jerusalem affects all of us, religious or not, near or far. Is the third temple closer than we think? You tell me. If this opened your eyes to something new, smash that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment. Is this prophecy or just politics? Either way, the clock's ticking. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.